Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. We need to talk about what's developing right now because another major winter storm is taking shape across the United States. This one is bringing a dangerous combination that honestly concerns me more than just heavy snow alone. We're looking at a fast-moving low-pressure system that's going to intensify as it tracks from the Central Plains all the way to the East Coast. And it's going to spread a treacherous mix of heavy snow and ice from Kansas clear through to Maine. This is not going to be your typical winter storm where snow is the only concern. What makes this system particularly dangerous is the widespread. It's freezing rain that's going to impact areas that frankly aren't always prepared for significant ice accumulation. Let me paint the picture for you right now. We're expecting a widespread swath of accumulating snowfall from the Central Plains all the way through New England, with many areas on track to see 3 to 7 inches of snow. But here's where things get really interesting and where we need to focus our attention. There's a sharp corridor of heavy snow from the Great Lakes to the northeast where double-digit snowfall totals are absolutely on the table. Places like Erie, Albany, Worcester, and Concord could be in line for over a foot of snow if the strongest bands lock in exactly where we think they will. That's significant accumulation that's going to cause major travel disruptions and could lead to school closures and business shutdowns, by the way. If you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you liked the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. But what really keeps me up at night with this particular storm is the ice component. We are expecting widespread freezing rain across Arkansas, Kentucky, West Virginia, and even in the higher elevations of the Carolinas. Now, I need you to understand something critical about freezing rain. Even a light glaze of ice can cause treacherous travel conditions. We're not talking about needing a quarter inch of ice to make things dangerous. It takes less than 1/100 of an inch of ice to make roadways absolutely slick and hazardous. But some areas in this zone could see 1/10 of an inch or more, and that's enough to bring down tree limbs and lead to scattered power outages. Right now, as I'm looking at the latest data, you already have some bands of moderate snowfall across parts of Kansas. There's freezing rain back over in Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, and southwest Missouri that's beginning to ramp up as we speak. This is a big concern throughout the morning and early afternoon hours. We're going to have this area of freezing drizzle and rain that's going to stretch from Little Rock, Arkansas, back through Joplin, Missouri. This means that if any freezing rain accumulates on the roadways, it will be very slippery out there on untreated roadways. And I'm honestly very concerned that we're going to see accidents because of this ice across Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, and southern Missouri. As we approach midday, that snow area is going to grow in size from central Kansas back into western Illinois. Freezing rain is going to continue to be a threat across northern Arkansas and southern Missouri, while we're just going to see heavy rain back down towards the Gulf Coast. By late afternoon, that snow is going to continue to expand. And that's mainly because we have 2 different air masses coming together. We have one coming over the Rockies, and then another one coming out of the Gulf. And all that moisture is going to merge into one big storm system as we go into late today and into tomorrow. This means our snow is not just going to get larger in size, it's also going to come down even heavier. We're going to start dealing with heavy snowfall during the evening hours across Illinois and even over near Indianapolis. Freezing drizzle. It's going to continue to be a threat in far western Kentucky near areas like Mayfield, southeast Missouri, and northeastern Arkansas. Back over near Jonesboro, we could even have a brief period of freezing rain, which means ice accumulation is on the table on untreated roadways. That snow is going to grow in size even further overnight, all those dark blues popping up across. The Ohio Valley indicate much heavier snowfall, and snowfall rates will be as high as 2 to 3 inches per hour. This is going to be a pretty intense winter weather event. The good news for those that don't want snow is that this is a very fast-moving system. This is only going to last about 4 to 6 hours for most of you, and this snow is going to be pretty wet, which means it won't stack very quickly on the ground. But this will definitely add to our snow totals from the last couple of days, where many of you saw record-breaking snowfall amounts for November, including areas near Fort Wayne, Indiana, and back over in central Illinois near Springfield and St. Louis. Overnight, we're going to have some freezing rain across parts of Kentucky, southern Ohio, and even just west of Nashville. Again, it's going to be very light, but it might just be enough to make roadways slick. It's not going to stack. up into a full-blown ice storm because of how fast it's moving. But what will become dangerous is that on the backside of this system, you have freezing rain and then moderate to heavy snowfall. So we could have black ice the next morning, which means on top of that, we could even have some snowfall accumulation on the road. It could be a double-edged sword in some locations where there's a very thin layer of ice and also some snow that could cancel schools or at least delay them. That heavy snow will move into the Northeast by morning. We're talking about snow covering all of Pennsylvania, New York, and also moving into New England. Eventually during the afternoon, we're talking about very heavy snowfall across parts of New York, back over near Albany, and even near Worcester in Massachusetts. There could be moderate to heavy snowfall, though you're going to be right on the line of rain and snow. Over in New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont, a quick-hitting nor'easter is going to be happening during the daytime. By evening, most of the snow is going to wind down. It will still be snowing across Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont through about midnight. But if you're anywhere else in the Northeast, all the snow is basically going to be done by evening. This is going to be a very quick-moving nor'easter, but it's definitely going to cause some big problems. Now let's talk about how much snow and ice is coming out of this storm, beginning with snowfall accumulation across the Central Plains and Midwest. For the most part, we're talking about a widespread 2 to 4 inches of snow. Parts of Kansas could have isolated areas near 5 inches, but generally speaking, it's going to be a pretty quick-moving system. For those in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, a lot of the snow is just going to stack up on top of what we already have on the ground. We're expecting at least a widespread 2 to 4 inches. I think it's realistic to see around 3 to 6 inches. Maybe even close to 4 to 8 inches in parts of central and eastern Indiana and western and northern Ohio. Beyond this winter storm, we are going to have more problems later this week. Nothing really major in terms of snowfall midweek, but there will be light snow across the upper Midwest and the Rockies. I think we'll have to be eyeing the Gulf Coast later in the week for our next storm system. This will be over in the southern plains where heavy rainfall and even isolated severe weather will be on the table. We might even see freezing rain and snow as far south as North Carolina and Virginia. By next weekend, things could get more active with maybe another shot of snow across the Midwest, maybe around 3 to 6 inches. As we go into the following week, the GFS model is hinting that our mid-December weather could be pretty active across the United States. Could have a couple big storm systems. It's going to depend a lot on what happens in the Pacific Ocean over the next week or so, but if we get a good atmospheric river event in the Pacific Northwest, could have something similar to what we saw over the last week with multiple winter storms. Keep in mind that meteorological winter began recently, so we are entering a pretty active weather pattern. We have not had this active of a start to December in quite some time. I don't remember the last time we had a chance of multiple different snow events during the first couple weeks of December. The last few years have been pretty mild overall, so definitely a change to our weather across the United States. If you're a winter weather lover, stay tuned because this pattern is locked in and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But you're prepared. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.